Oh, Saintontas, Saintontas, Saintontas. What is it to say? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. But to be fair, I don't think you were ever the hero. And people who aren't dented probably always saw you as the villain. And what has happened recently has just been something to behold. The content creator who has built a career off attacking people repeatedly to the point some could consider harassment is now pulling the bullying/harassment card, which is actually wild to see. Again, I've got no personal beef with Saint as a human being, but as a content creator, I do believe he has been a massive detriment, specifically to the Wuthering Wave space and to the gacha conversations in general. This is a guy who made a video to recap his 1v9s, his 1v4s against multiple content creators through the year of 2025. This is somebody who has become a digital bully, which it's clear to see now in his reactions to the recent Skull CJ videos, which you're going to get into some clips here. This is a person who sadly looks like they was probably bullied when they were younger and has now become the thing they hated. And I believe this is definitely a bit of a small man syndrome, a Napoleon complex in an attempt to make themselves feel better in the way they deal with content and other human beings on this platform. This is hilarious, if you ask me. It's actually hilarious. This is something I've been watching from the sidelines and not actually bothered to be involved with because it doesn't involve me. But when I step in, just like the Legions video, it's one thing when you can dish it out, but when you can't take it, that's when I have to say, we're being a bit of a bitch now. So, recently, Skull CJ has been going in hard on Saintontas, and I mean hard. The dude's been crass, but at the end of the day, Saintontas is crass as well when it suits him. From insinuations about people's sexual proclivity and illegal sexual proclivities as well, to insulting people about their looks and making jokes that we all would say, that's not a good thing to do, right? His jokes are the jokes of 15-year-old edgelords on Call of Duty back in the day, right? But this is a grown-ass man, and then he hides behind the, I never inferred anything, I never insinuated anything, you were the ones who insinuated everything, which this is a perfect example here before we get into the whole situation on how he's reacting to Skull CJ. But this is a perfect example of what Saintontas has done before without any need to, and then hides behind the idea of being bullied and sexually harassed as well. But just look at this here from his apology, or his so-called apology towards Genazad when he got banned on Twitch.
Because she's a childlike VTuber, and Rosia is a childlike character. And he has no other S6 characters. And so clearly he put a lot more resources and expenditures into her. And so I just made a joke about it. Because one's a kid, childlike character, and the other's a childlike character. And people are saying that I'm the worst person ever for doing that. And you want to know what I have to say about that? All I did was compare Maggie, a childlike character, to Rosia, another childlike character. And if you're going ahead and you're the individual that's trying to go to the next level with that, if you're trying to imply that there's a deeper meaning to that, all I said is he's a fan of Maggie and he's a fan of Rosia. That's it. And if you...
Do you see what I'm saying here? The attempted gaslighting after making a joke like that. The implication is clear to see. Otherwise, the joke has no merit. You don't make a joke like that without there being an inference to something. There's a reason for the punchline, and the punchline is, well, he likes this childlike thing and he likes this childlike thing. What could that mean? It's obvious what you were trying to do there. It's a crass, kind of disgusting joke towards a person. Like, jokes are jokes at the end of the day. But when you start saying this about men, This is one of those things that, in my opinion, you just don't do. And then to hide behind well, I just made a joke. I didn't even infer that that was the joke. If you did, you're the one with the problem, which is just so shameless and shady, if you ask me. But let's get back to the CJ stuff, because this is hilarious. So CJ's been going in hard on this guy, and it appears that CJ is the kryptonite Saintontas because he refuses to acknowledge the videos or react to them, because he has come with quite a lot of glue. Right, I talked about CJ being crass, Saint's crass, right? Saint comes with fire when it comes to other content creators. It's just that this time, Skull CJ's turned up with an M1 Abrams tank, and Saint does not know what to do about it. So just check this out as well here, because to me, this is where this guy's at now. This is the guy who took on all these CCs and boasted about potentially pushing people out of the space because he's that much of a god dog, and he believes that anybody who comes for him will get it. But apparently, when it comes to Skull CJ, it's not quite the case.
Making this for the love of the game, to not get monetized on them, make
Which is quite
$0
funny, actually.
For the love of
CJ is doing this monetization free, which makes it even better. Like, dude's not even trying to farm for cash. He's just farming for the fucking banter, and I love it.
the game, and also just to get struck later on, because this is literally, it's literally harassment. So
It's harassment.
based off of this,
Remember that, before we get to that, it's harassment, right? It's harassment. Maggie videos, it's harassment. All she had the thing of doing was saying she wasn't a fan of Saint in private, right? And maybe got some calculations a little bit incorrect. And this dude went after her. One of the most, like, inoffensive people in the space, but she just happened to commit the crime of saying, yeah, that guy, fuck that guy. But he couldn't handle that. Again, this is what I say. It seems like the ego of somebody who probably got bullied back in the day, which is sad, right? But this is how a person with a fragile ego would react. You know, this is harassment. Once again, another content creator. You can say what you like about Pokey, but the levels that Saintontas went when it came to Mr. Pokey was insane. And that's not even mentioning Ryuku Sensei, another guy who the dude went after repeatedly because they had a bit of a personal issue. It couldn't be left at 1 or 2 videos. It had to be repeated because this is the dude's MO. But now he's talking about harassment, which is...
I am asking all of you to, like, this is not even like an ask for like a mass report. This is literally like report it for, honestly, I don't even know. Like, could you... Yeah, I feel like...
And now we've got the dude asking for people to report the channel and saying he's going to report the channel himself. He does make sure to say this is not a mass report here, but he almost says it later on and catches himself when he actually says the word mass report the channel, which this is pathetic, if you ask me. I wouldn't judge Saint for doing this if he just stayed in his lane and was here just making content, right? Just doing his thing, making content, and all of a sudden, out of the woodwork comes along big bad Skull CJ in an attempt to destroy his brand, his reputation. That's not the case, is it? This is a guy who has built his entire career off being the Gacha Spaces version of Tecton, but a worse, poor facsimile. You know, somebody who just constantly is chomping at the bit to shit on people, insulting people like Rin's looks. I said this before, you shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house. You know, this is a guy who has built his entire persona on, well, I'm the guy that comes to deal with the guys, and I'll deal with them all at the same time. I'll 1v4, I'll 1v9, but for some reason, just because Skull CJ is coming with a little bit of fire, a lot of fire actually, but if you actually watch some of the videos, there's some genuine points that he actually catches Saint on, and it looks like Saint has no ability to come back at them, because this is a guy that said, you know, bring your mans, I'll deal with them, I'm on the corner, come see me, but when somebody actually comes to see him, all of a sudden now, it's harassment, it's bullying, it's sexual harassment. This is sad to see. If you're a fan of Saint, surely this has got you questioning the big bad man himself. Like, this is really sad.
Do like the top 4.
Right? We've got him here saying this. Right? Now, just listen to this as well. This is what I talk about with Saint being a child in his humour, right? Not only insinuating that people might have sexual proclivities towards minors, right? We've also got him saying stuff like this. It's just so weird. It's just so weird for a grown man to say these sort of things.
Yeah, he's just super gay. That's really uncomfortable. Guys, you don't know how uncomfortable it is to get propositioned by men until you get propositioned by multiple gay men repeatedly over the course of your life.
What? Where is Saint hanging out? And what is Saint doing to make multiple gay men start propositioning him, right? You know, they talk about things like a gaydar. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe they're seeing something. But, like, the idea that, like, he's so insulting towards using the term gay. Like I say, that's like what people used to do back in the day. Oh, you're just gay, man. Oh, that's gay, man. It's just such a weird way for a grown man to act about somebody who's just, like, putting him on blast, talking about that he's maliciously gay, and then going into his trauma about being propositioned by multiple gay men over the years. It's almost like that saying about I think they doth protest too much or something along those lines. It's odd.
That has happened to me on numerous occasions, but I am super straight and it's super bad.
Yeah. I think anybody who says I'm super straight, man, trust me, like I get propositioned by gay men a lot. I'm super straight now, and until you get there, you wouldn't understand my trauma with this situation. It's such odd energy. It's such odd energy, and not to even mention that this is a guy, like, as CJ said here, right? You know, in this video, like, dude, actually, I think, where is he? Where is it actually? This is he. This is he in his 2025 video. Like, check this out. This is weird. Like, what is this doing? Dude doing? And he talks about harassment. Like, why would you even make something like this or allow your editors to make something like this? Actually insane.
I never gave any of these individuals any reason to attack me. They
definitely
all
not.
went for it.
Definitely not.
Unprompted, out of nowhere, on their own. All of it. All on their own. And you want to know what the best thing is? This isn't even the full list. There's still more people.
Like, what is this? Like, shout out to CJ for putting this stuff on, and some people as well linking me stuff as well, because having to go through Saint's content is kind of painful, right? What the fuck is this? Like, what is dude insinuating it again? What dude will do is he'll do this gaslighting of, you're the one doing that. I'm just putting the stuff out here. But, like, he says the jokes, but jokes have to have a punchline. You can't just have no inference. You have to nudge the person towards it. Now, sometimes jokes can be set up of the, I never said that, but at the same time, there's an inference there. So to pretend that people are insane for thinking it, it's just ridiculous. And this is a problem that's happened multiple times now with Saintontas in the space, and it's why he has become a bit of a stain on the space. I'm cool with people going at each other, people having a bit of CC beef and all that sort of stuff. It's not something I usually dabble in. A couple of times I've spoke about stuff like this on my channel. The only time I've really specifically gone after a CC was Legion's Gaming, but the dude spent 44 minutes shitting on me and then did something just like what Saint has done. The second other people started shitting on him, he folded like a cheap lawn chair. And now we've got Saint doing something similar. I probably would have just watched this from the sidelines, if I'm honest, but it's just so insane to me. I knew Saint was a lot of things, right? As I say, as a person, I think less of him after seeing some of these clips. Like this Epstein clip is crazy when you know what's happened with the whole Epstein situation. Like, that to me, that ain't jokes. That's fucked up to even add a list of CCs that you've been blasting and then put that in there. That's fucked up. That's genuinely fucked up. And you can't sit on your high horse claiming that you're getting harassed when you're putting out content like this. Because to me, I think this is kind of sick. because there's genuine, real victims. And in that clip as well, there's the dude with a kid, and like, who knows the little what's it's there of terrible things that have happened, right? Like, fucked up beyond belief, if you ask me. To sit here and claim harassment and tell his viewers to go and report the channel is pathetic, if you ask me. Genuinely pathetic. So all I'm going to say is shout out to CJ for doing this, if I'm honest. Again, prior to this, I've got no beef with Saint anyway, right? Apart from that, like, Epstein stuff and insinuating stuff about genocide, those sort of things make me do question somebody as a person, because it's like, bro, that's real shitty. You don't fucking do that stuff, right? You don't have jokes, poke fun. If there's a reason to say something like that about somebody, have at it. But when there's none, just because you don't like the person, because you've got a little tiny ego that's super fragile, you know, you've got a Napoleon complex, and you feel like you've got to digitally bully people now because you probably didn't have the best upbringing. You know, he likes to go around calling people nerds, but dude was a high elo league player. Like, you can't go around calling people nerds when you're a high elo league player. It just doesn't cut it right. We're all nerds in this space, so stop with that bullshit as well. But like, as I say, for somebody who has done that, it makes me think, yeah, you know what, that's not a great character trait, right, at all. And then to do this, to then flip it when somebody uses the same methods that you use, but actually has some evidence to back it up, and isn't just coming at you for no reason, he's actually returning fire, they're firing shots across your bow, all of a sudden, all right then, I need you guys to back me up, guys. I need you guys to back me up.
When super gay shit like this keeps fucking happening to me. Because what the fuck is this dude posting this shit and then...
Like, this stuff is just crazy.
All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
it's
wrong
just
with
crazy
that.
to me.
Nothing wrong with
the
that.
way, like, the dude is in this video, like, almost, like, it's like dude is genuinely shook. He does not know how to deal with CJ. And it's actually quite funny to see, because of a dude who, you know, has bragged about how he can deal with anybody in this space. Like I said, bring your mans. And then CJ turned up and was like, all right, let's go. Saint was like, okay, I'm going to need you to report this guy. We need him out in the community, you know? And this isn't the first time that he's tried to excommunicate people. He tried it with Maggie. He tried it with Mr. Polky. He tried it with Ryuku-sensei. This is a guy who spent hours upon hours shitting on people. This is a guy who spent 6 hours shitting on a content creator for their B-roll in a video. That was the moment that we really realised, okay, there's something a bit off about this guy, right? But it was, all right, okay, the dude just really likes Wuthering Waves. He's really being defensive of the game, which is a bit sad, but whatever. The descendancy, should I say, into the descent into what he's become recently. Like, it's almost been a proper mask. Well, the mask's been off for a while. Well, it slipped. The mask totally fell onto the floor now with the recent videos. And I think Enfield's been the thing that's kind of broke the last straw to break the camel's back. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? But yeah, all I've got to say about this is quite pathetic, if you ask me. If you're going to live by the sword, you better be prepared to die by the sword. But bro don't want that. Bro wants to use protections, use arguments around it. Well, if this was happening to a girl, you know, this dude spent multiple videos going after a really inoffensive, cute little gremlin character girl, right? Who just does calculations and nerds out about rotations in a video game. And just because she had the balls to say, I'm not a fan of this guy, the dude went after her hard, you know? Calling her a rat, calling her all these names, you know? Constantly making jokes about Ryuku being gay. And he clearly didn't like it, right? But all of a sudden, he doesn't like this sort of energy. And now it needs to be stopped. But it's okay when he infers about people being sexual criminals, when he infers about people being gay, when he infers that people are liars and racists and all of these different things he's done over the time, when he makes statements about getting saying something about Harry Carter, when inferring that he's going to get an AR-15 and take it to a public place, and then attempting the terrible rollback of, well, I was talking about a gun range. Pathetic. And I honestly think the dude has single-handedly in the EN space made the Wuthering Wave space look terrible. And the quicker the space wakes up to that, the better, right? I've had my opposition towards the Wuthering Wave space, right? But this has been the flag bearer for the space. Again, I can separate YouTube from people, right? But when you're making Epstein jokes, when you're making, you know, inferences about people's attraction and stuff like that, those sort of jokes, that ain't cool, right? That ain't cool. So, yeah. I think you need to fix up, Saint. I think you're going to start playing with fire, man. You got to be ready to get burnt. I think you got fucking burnt hard. And I must admit, it's actually quite enjoyable to witness. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one. And I've got to say, yo, Skull CJ, props, man. You're the dude's kryptonite. It's actually kind of impressive. We'll see you later anyway. Ta-ra.